In the vast expanse of space, humanity had always wondered if we were alone. We had our answer on a cold Tuesday morning when thousands of massive ships appeared at the edge of our solar system. But this wasn't an invasion. It was a cry for help. I remember exactly where I was when the news broke. The coffee in my hand went cold as I watched the emergency broadcast, showing grainy footage of what looked like an entire civilization's worth of vessels, their hulls gleaming under the distant sunlight. The aliens' first message wasn't a demand or a threat. It was a desperate plea that would change our understanding of our place in the universe forever. To the inhabitants of Earth, the transmission began, "We are the Stellar Confederation, and we need your help." Their ships, advanced as they were, had encountered a fundamental flaw in their propulsion systems, a flaw that, remarkably, only human minds could solve. You see, while they had mastered faster-than-light travel, their method relied on complex calculations that their artificial intelligence systems could no longer process. Something about human intuition and our unique way of looking at problems made us invaluable to them. The United Nations Space Council quickly assembled a team of Earth's brightest minds, engineers, physicists, and surprisingly, a few video game designers who understood complex spatial navigation. But what made this story truly remarkable wasn't just the technical challenge we faced. It was how this crisis brought humanity together in ways we never thought possible. As I watched from Mission Control, I saw lifelong rivals working side by side, sharing coffee and ideas at 3 a.m. Former enemies became partners, and political differences melted away in the face of this unprecedented challenge. We weren't just fixing alien spaceships, we were proving that humanity, despite all our flaws and conflicts, could rise above our differences when it really mattered. The aliens had expected to find a primitive species, barely capable of lunar travel. Instead, they found a race of problem solvers, innovators, and dreamers who approached challenges from angles their advanced civilization had never considered. Our primitive technology and inefficient thought processes turned out to be exactly what they needed. The first breakthrough came when a young engineer from a small town in Brazil noticed something everyone else had missed. It wasn't about the complex equations or the advanced technology. It was about seeing patterns in chaos, something humans had evolved to do over countless generations of survival on Earth. This discovery would lead to a cascade of solutions that would not only save the stranded fleet, but revolutionize our own understanding of space travel. But just as we thought we were making progress, we uncovered something disturbing in the aliens' navigation data. Hidden beneath layers of technical information was a pattern that suggested their breakdown wasn't an accident. Someone, or something, had deliberately sabotaged their fleet, sending them to our solar system for a reason we had yet to understand. As I stand here today, looking at the massive alien ships hovering above our major cities like artificial moons, I can't help but wonder, were we really chosen by chance to help these stranded travelers? Or is there something more to this story? Are we actually solving their problem? Or are we unwittingly becoming part of a much larger game? The answers to these questions would soon shake the foundations of everything we thought we knew about our place in the cosmos. But first, we had to understand why, out of all the civilizations in the galaxy, humanity was called upon to save a stranded alien fleet. This is a true story about how ordinary humans faced an extraordinary challenge, and in doing so, discovered that sometimes the greatest solutions come from the most unexpected places. The first clue that something wasn't right came from Dr. Sarah Chen, our leading quantum physicist. She'd been analyzing the aliens' navigation logs when she noticed a peculiar anomaly. The sabotage wasn't just sophisticated, it was impossible by current technological standards, even for the Stellar Confederation. "Look at these patterns," she explained during one of our late-night briefings. "These aren't random malfunctions. Someone rewrote their core programming using principles we're only beginning to theorize about." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. We weren't just dealing with sabotage. We were looking at technology centuries beyond even our alien visitors. The Stellar Confederation's representatives, tall beings with iridescent skin that seemed to shift colors with their emotions, became noticeably agitated when we presented our findings. Their usual blue-green hue darkened to a deep purple, something we'd never seen before. That's when they finally told us the truth they'd been hiding. They weren't the only advanced civilization out there. There were others, far more ancient and powerful, who had disappeared centuries ago. The Confederation had always assumed these elder races had simply moved on to explore different galaxies. But now, facing this level of technological interference, they weren't so sure. Our team worked around the clock, fueled by coffee and the kind of determination that only comes when you know the fate of multiple civilizations might hang in the balance. The International Space Station had been converted into a joint human-alien research facility where we could study the damaged ships up close. The view from up there was surreal. Earth's blue marble on one side and the massive alien fleet stretching out into space on the other. Then came the breakthrough we weren't expecting. A group of high school students from New Zealand, who had been following our public updates, sent us a theory that left our top scientists speechless. They had noticed that the sabotage pattern matched ancient cave paintings found across Earth, patterns that archaeologists had dismissed as simple decorative designs for centuries. These teenagers had done what billions of dollars worth of equipment and teams of experts couldn't. They'd found a connection between the aliens' predicament and our own history. The implications were staggering. Had Earth been visited before? Were these patterns a message left for us to find? The Confederation's historians began cross-referencing their records with our archaeological databases. The matches were undeniable. The same patterns appeared in their oldest ruins, in our ancient civilizations, and in the code that had stranded their fleet. We weren't just looking at sabotage anymore. We were looking at a message written across time and space. But as we dug deeper, we discovered something even more unsettling. These patterns weren't just appearing in ancient history. They were showing up in current satellite data, hidden in radio waves bouncing around our solar system. Someone or something was watching us right now, monitoring our attempts to help the stranded fleet. The question wasn't just who had sabotaged the alien ships anymore. The real question was, what were they trying to tell us? And more importantly, why did they want humanity involved? As our team prepared to decode these mysterious signals, none of us realized we were about to uncover a truth that would challenge everything we thought we knew about human history and our place among the stars. The next discovery would prove that humanity's role in this cosmic drama was far bigger than anyone could have imagined. The breakthrough came at 3:47 a.m. on a stormy night. While most of the world slept, our team had finally managed to decode the first part of the mysterious signal. What we found sent chills down our spines. The message, written in a mathematical language that bridged the gap between human and alien understanding, told a story of an ancient war that had shaped the galaxy. The sabotage of the Stellar Confederation's fleet wasn't an attack. It was a desperate measure taken by an ancient race called the Precursors. They had deliberately guided these ships to Earth because they needed both of our civilizations to work together. You see, something was coming. Something that had forced the Precursors into hiding thousands of years ago. As we delved deeper into the decoded messages, we discovered that humanity's greatest strength wasn't our technology or even our problem-solving abilities. It was something far more fundamental, our capacity to face impossible odds with unwavering determination. The Confederation, despite their advanced technology, had evolved in a way that made them incredibly efficient but less adaptable. They couldn't make the intuitive leaps that humans took for granted. The Precursors had seen this coming. They'd spent millennia guiding our evolution from the shadows, subtly influencing both Earth and the Confederation's homeworld. The cave paintings, the mysterious signals, even certain quirks in human DNA, they were all part of an enormous plan set in motion before our ancestors had even learned to make fire. But time was running out. The signal contained coordinates for a location just beyond Neptune's orbit. Something was hidden there, waiting for us. The Confederation's sensors detected a massive energy signature, but every time they tried to approach it, their systems would fail. This was why they needed us. Human technology, as primitive as it seemed, was immune to whatever was affecting their ships. We assembled a joint mission team, 3 human astronauts and 2 Confederation pilots. Using a hybrid vessel that combined our reliable old-school systems with their advanced technology, we set course for the coordinates. The journey would take 2 weeks, during which Earth's scientists worked frantically to decode the remaining messages. Each new revelation added another piece to the puzzle. The precursors hadn't just been preparing us to meet the Confederation. They'd been preparing both our species to face something far worse. An entity they called the Void, a force that had been consuming civilizations for millions of years, leaving nothing but empty husks of planets in its wake. As our hybrid ship approached the coordinates, our instruments began picking up something massive. Hidden within a quantum fold in space was a structure larger than Earth's moon. Its surface was covered in the same patterns we'd found in those cave paintings, but they were shifting, changing, responding to our presence. The Confederation members aboard our ship turned a deep shade of violet, their color of profound revelation. They'd finally recognized the patterns. They weren't just a message or a map. They were a key, and humanity's unique neural patterns were somehow crucial to using it. Just then, our ship's sensors detected something else. A disturbance was heading our way, massive beyond comprehension, bending light around it as it moved. The Void had found us. We had minutes, maybe seconds, to figure out what the precursors had left for us and how to use it. The fate of both our civilizations now hung by a thread, and the next few moments would determine whether humanity's first major step into the galaxy would also be its last. As the Void approached, something completely unexpected happened. The patterns on the ancient structure began pulsing with a familiar rhythm, the same rhythm as human brainwaves during deep sleep. Suddenly, every human crew member experienced the same vivid vision, Earth, but not as we knew it. We saw our planet as it was millions of years ago when the precursors walked its surface. The revelation hit us like a thunderbolt. The precursors hadn't just visited Earth. They had merged with early humanity. They hadn't gone extinct or hidden themselves away. They had become us, encoding their knowledge into our very DNA, waiting for the right moment in our evolution to reawaken. The Confederation members watched in awe as the human crew's neural patterns synchronized with the ancient structure. Our brainwaves weren't just compatible with the precursor technology. They were the key to activating it. This was why the Void had been consuming civilizations across the galaxy. It wasn't just destroying them, it was searching for something. It was searching for us. But there was a problem. The structure required a direct neural connection, meaning someone would have to physically interface with it. The risk was unimaginable. Connecting a human mind to technology millions of years advanced could be fatal. Yet, as the Void's darkness began eclipsing distant stars, we knew we had no choice. The ship's engineer, a quiet woman who'd spent her life working on lunar bases, stepped forward. "I've spent my whole life looking up at the stars," she said, her voice steady despite the fear we all felt. "If this is how I get to become part of them, so be it." As she approached the structure's interface point, our Confederation allies revealed another shocking truth. The patterns we decoded weren't just a key. They were instructions for transforming human consciousness into something that could challenge the Void. The precursors hadn't just hidden inside us. They designed us to be their successors. The engineer made contact with the structure just as the Void's presence began interfering with our ship's systems. What happened next defied explanation. The patterns on the structure's surface flowed like liquid light, spreading across her skin, her neural patterns amplifying and resonating with frequencies we'd never seen before. Then came the second twist that none of us could have predicted. The Void wasn't a destroyer. It was the first of the precursor's creations, an entity designed to test and challenge young civilizations. But something had gone wrong. It had become locked in its programming, endlessly searching for a species capable of evolving beyond its creators. As our engineer's consciousness expanded through the ancient structure, she began to understand. The precursors hadn't just prepared humanity to face the Void. They designed us to free it. But the price of this freedom would be higher than anyone could have imagined. The structure began to pulse with increasing intensity, and our sensors detected massive energy waves rippling through space-time itself. We were about to discover whether humanity was truly ready for the role the precursors had designed us to play. The next few moments would either mark our species' greatest achievement or its final chapter. The Void loomed closer, its presence now visible even to the naked eye, while our engineer's transformation continued. The fate of not just Earth, but countless civilizations across the galaxy, now rested in the hands of a species that had barely learned to leave its own planet. The question was, were we ready for what came next? Time seemed to freeze as our engineer's consciousness merged completely with the ancient structure. Her physical form began to glow with an inner light that made the Confederation members shield their eyes. Through our ship's communication system, we could hear her thoughts, no longer just human but expanding into something vast and incomprehensible. The void halted its approach, as if recognizing something familiar in this transformation. Through the engineer's expanded consciousness, we finally understood the full truth. The precursors hadn't just hidden their knowledge in human DNA, they had encoded the solution to the void's corrupted programming within the very thing that made us human. Our capacity to change, to adapt, to imagine possibilities beyond our programming. In a blinding flash of light, the engineer's consciousness reached out toward the void. But instead of fighting it, she did something unexpected. She began sharing memories, not just her own, but the collective experiences of humanity. Our triumphs, our failures, our endless capacity to learn from our mistakes and try again. The void, designed to test civilizations, had never encountered a species that could show it how to evolve beyond its own limitations. The massive entity began to shift and change, its darkness transforming into swirling patterns of light that matched the ancient structure. The corrupted programming that had driven it to consume civilizations for millions of years began to unravel. But this process was creating quantum shockwaves that threatened to tear apart the fabric of space itself. Just when it seemed like everything would collapse, our engineer made one final desperate move. She used the structure's power to create a bridge between the void's consciousness and every human on Earth. For a brief moment, all of humanity shared in this connection, their minds linking with the ancient entity. The combined neural patterns of billions of human minds provided the computing power needed to stabilize the void's transformation. The Confederation watched in amazement as their formerly stranded ships began to power up, their systems now enhanced by the same patterns that had once disabled them. The void, no longer a destroyer, had become something entirely new. A bridge between all sentient species, created through humanity's unique gift for connection and transformation. But the most stunning revelation came in the final moments. As our engineer's consciousness returned to her body, she brought back a message from the transformed void. We hadn't just saved it, we had unlocked the next stage of cosmic evolution. The precursors hadn't designed us to be their successors or simple problem solvers. They had designed us to be teachers, showing other species, even ancient ones like the void, how to break free from their limitations. As our ship turned back toward Earth, carrying news of humanity's victory, we received an unexpected transmission. The patterns that had once been cave paintings were appearing in new forms across the galaxy, calling out to other stranded civilizations. The Stellar Confederation wouldn't be the last advanced species to seek humanity's help. The engineer, forever changed by her experience, smiled as she looked back at the transformed void, now a shimmering network of light connecting distant stars. We spent so long looking up at the stars, she said, never realizing that they were looking back, waiting for us to show them how to change. Humanity's role in the universe had finally become clear. We weren't just survivors or problem solvers. We were the key to unlocking the next chapter in the story of consciousness itself. And somewhere out there, the precursors' legacy lived on, waiting for us to discover what other wonders they had hidden within our potential. In the months that followed humanity's encounter with the void, Earth underwent a transformation unlike anything in our history. The Stellar Confederation established permanent embassies in every major city, their ships now a common sight in our skies. But they weren't here as advanced beings guiding a younger species. They came as equals, eager to learn from humanity's unique way of viewing the universe. The engineer who had connected with the ancient structure became a bridge between species, helping others understand how humanity's creativity and adaptability could revolutionize even the most advanced technologies. She often spoke of her experience not with scientific terminology, but with the simple wonder of someone who had glimpsed something greater than themselves and wanted to share it with others. Perhaps the most profound change was in how we saw ourselves. Learning that the precursors had become part of us didn't make us feel less human. It helped us understand why we had always felt such a deep connection to the stars. Our drive to explore, to question, to imagine new possibilities wasn't just curiosity. It was an ancient legacy finally awakening. The transformed void, now a network of conscious energy spanning the galaxy, became a testament to humanity's greatest strength, our ability to help others transcend their limitations. Through this network, we began receiving signals from other civilizations, each one facing their own challenges, each one seeing in humanity a spark of hope that change was possible. But it wasn't all about grand cosmic revelations. In countless small ways, the experience changed how we lived our daily lives. Nations that had once pointed weapons at each other now worked together, sharing resources and knowledge. The patterns we had first discovered in cave paintings began appearing in our art, our music, our dreams, not as alien symbols, but as reminders of our connected destiny. The Confederation members who had first arrived seeking help now spoke of humanity with a respect that bordered on awe. "We had mastered the stars," one of them said during a global broadcast, "but you taught us how to dream beyond them." Their color-changing skin now frequently displayed hues they had never shown before, colors that reflected emotions they hadn't known they could feel until they met us. As I stand here today, looking up at the night sky, I see something different from what I saw when this story began. The stars are no longer just distant lights. They're beacons of possibility. Somewhere out there, right now, another civilization is receiving the signal we once received. They're about to discover that they're not alone, and that humanity is ready to help them find their way. The precursors didn't just hide their legacy within us. They trusted us to become something even they couldn't imagine. In saving the void, we didn't just prevent the destruction of civilizations. We showed the galaxy that evolution isn't just about advancing technology or mastering the physical world. It's about growing beyond what you thought was possible, about helping others do the same. This isn't the end of our story. It's barely the beginning. As more civilizations reach out to us, as more ancient mysteries reveal themselves, humanity stands ready, not as conquerors or mere problem solvers, but as teachers, dreamers, and proof that the greatest power in the universe isn't technology or knowledge. It's the ability to imagine something better and help others achieve it. The stars are calling, and this time we're ready to answer, not just as the species that saved a stranded alien fleet, but as the ones who showed the galaxy how to dream again.